Today, I have the opportunity to meet with Stephanie Tran. She's founded this awesome organization called Uplift Learning. Correct?
Yes, that is my nonprofit, and then my business is Tutor Root.
Tutor Root. So let's go. Let's talk about both of them. Okay. And by the way, our guest star today. You want to introduce her?
Yes, her name is Elsa, and she is a lovely French bulldog, and she was my COVID baby.
I love it. Well, she's beautiful. So this will be really fun.
Thank
So
you.
Stephanie, tell me about you. How did you get into business? Let's talk about your business, and then if you want to talk about the nonprofit too, that would be awesome.
Absolutely. So I started off as wanting to go into law school after attending the University of Texas. And then in my junior year, I realized that something was missing. I didn't want to quite go to law school yet. And I decided, why don't I do something good for my community? And so I decided to join Teach for America. And that's where I fell in love with teaching. And I actually taught at the same elementary school that I went to. So I had my former teachers as my coworkers now.
Well, that had to be amazing in itself, right? Was that kind of weird? You're like, am I really supposed to be here?
Oh, no, they made it so welcoming and they were like my mentors. We ended up going out to happy hour and they forced me to call them by their first name. And so that was really interesting. But
That's
I loved
crazy.
every minute of it. And what I had noticed during my time in teaching was the resources that were there were still pretty much bare minimum. And
Mm.
I had thought by the time that I graduated and come back to teach that the resources might look different. But even after so many years, the resources had remained the same for us Title I's kids and ESL kids. And so I
Mm.
wanted to make tutoring not a luxury, but a necessity. And so I
Yeah.
opened up tutoring for my kids after school, and I would have them come to the library with me. We would have snacks, and I would give tutoring at a very low discounted rate for them. And
Okay.
that's how I kind of grew my business and ended up having a team of tutors with me. And then I decided to leave teaching full time to pursue this business full time.
Wow. And so that's scary, right? That's the jump. That's a question I ask everybody. It's like, when did you decide that this is a viable business model? And then when did you decide to take the leap from salary and benefits and all that stuff and safety to this new adventure?
That's a great question. I think when you find your calling, it doesn't seem so scary anymore. It's about solving a need, solving a problem. I feel like there's not enough champions in their corner to really fight for their equity in terms of opportunity gaps.
Mm.
And I felt like that's where I needed to be. I wanted to be a lawyer in the first place because of justice. And why not serve justice this way?
That's beautiful. So, what's tell me to the root? I think I know the answer, but I would love to hear you say it because how are you different? What makes you different from normal tutoring programs?
Great question. For us, I think quality is everything. And so therefore, I require all of my tutors to have certifications, either through the state or through me. I have a very rigorous training program that I put my tutors through if they're not certified through the state.
Okay, wow. And then all virtual.
All virtual for the training part, sure. But we do a hybrid model. It's kind of like Uber for tutors. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but we go wherever the kids need us to be. We could be at businesses, we could be at cafes, libraries, at schools, at homes. We want to make it comfortable for the students as possible.
That's awesome. And so I'm sure you have some. I'm on your site. I can see it obviously, but you have some great success stories. Tell me about an awesome success story.
Oh man, I think one of my favorite one was a student that was a Make-A-Wish Foundation kid. She was so driven and adamant about wanting to learn, but because she had so many blood transfusions, she didn't even know she was going to even make it. I think like just battling with life and death definitely puts you in a different light on whether you should even care about education or not. But that was not her goal. Her goal was, I'm going to still care about education whether I know I'm living or not. And we actually caught her up 4 grade levels. And even though she missed like 75% of her school that year. We were able to catch her up in that one summer because she was just that dedicated and really put our stuff to practice.
Wow, well, that's amazing. Also, kind of humbling and make kind of convicting because, like, I think I would be in if I was in that position, I'd be like, screw school. I
Pretty
don't.
much, right? Like I want to go live and go to Disneyland, which she did. She did go to Disneyland or was at Disney World, but they did grant her wish. And then she ended up making it. Now she's off to middle school right now. So I'm so proud of her.
Oh, thank God, that's awesome. Okay, so then I feel like your nonprofit is sort of an out reach mission of your actual for profit. Is that right? Sort of a way
Yes,
to give back
absolutely.
in a different way.
You're so smart. That's exactly it. I felt like, you know what, why not take this a step further, right? Why not give kids that are at a disadvantage an advantage and do it at no cost? And so we have these programs that do fund, and we thank our donors and these grants for being able to fund our programs and be able to give these kids that advantage that they need.
That's beautiful. Okay, so where do you want this? Where do you see your business Tutor Root? Like, what's the ultimate goal?
The vision is every kid has the opportunity to choose what they want to do and not be limited by the resources that they have. So if they want to be a carpenter or the best jeweler or run a business, or if they want to be the best vet, whatever it is that
Mm,
they want to be, no resource should stop them, or lack of resources should stop them from being able to make that happen. And I really do believe tutoring, consulting, mental health services, the things that we do offer for them, will be able to close that gap. So that's my hope.
that's really cool. And how many? What's the percentage of kids that really could use help?
I mean, I could use help too.
I love it. I love it. Well, me too, for sure. What about so how do you when you're building your team, how did you figure out when to hire and who to hire? Because that's a big question as people start to scale. And like when do I make that first hire and how do I identify the right person?
That's such a great question because I really didn't know what I was doing in terms of team building. Because when you're a teacher, you're just in charge of your little ones in the classroom. But having worked on a team of teachers and seeing how a principal leads a school, that's kind of the approach that I have. You have a team lead that's also a teacher, and you also have a principal that oversees the professional development of those teachers. And that's how we structure our organization as well. I truly believe professional development and continuous improvement are like one of our most important pillars. And if you don't have that already embedded in you and that growth mindset, then that's not a person that we usually hire on our team. And that's what creates harmony in our team as well, because we all have things that we can learn and do better. I'm not a perfect boss either, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to try my hardest and figure out what can we do better and pivot if we need to. And so I think when you're hiring a team or when to hire a team, it's about, okay, maybe we can't do this by ourselves anymore. We need to have another person on the team to be able to do this, things like that.
Yeah, I like I like what you said because where I was going to go next was culture, but one of your non-negotiables obviously is intellectual curiosity, continuous learning, high standard of quality. Those are non-negotiables. Any other non-negotiables in your culture and your team?
I think there's a difference between being nice and being kind. I
Mhm.
would like people that are kind on my team. I think at the end of the day, we're in the industry of service. And we're going to be dealing with some tough clients in the sense of, maybe their day wasn't going that great. And maybe they want to shout some things that they shouldn't be shouting. And we cannot retaliate with that kind of energy. We have to put a pause and go, okay, we understand where you're coming from. You're having a rough day at school, things are not going well in your family, but let's have a safe space for them here. I think creating that culture even for our clients is very important.
That's really good. I think and having a consistent space like that every week or whatever, that in itself is a gift. And then they get to learn on top of it. So that's a pretty neat thing you're doing. All
Thank
right.
you.
So tell me about one of your big learnings as you're building your business.
Oh my goodness. Big learnings. I think having a mentor is really important. I think in our industry, I mean, obviously feel this way too. There's not that many people that we can lean on sometimes, and people that we can trust, or people that are willing to listen to our problems. I mean, hiring a therapist helps, but also having a mentor, somebody who really knows their industry. And even if not, it's not their industry. I think every business owner has something great to share. So having a community of business owners or a mentor is really, really helpful in growing your business and staying sane.
Yes, yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, the truth is, yes, it's business ownership can be super lonely, right? Because you can't commiserate with your staff on the challenges you're having. You start out, you have to do everything by yourself, and then as you grow, you can start to delegate duties, and then you have to decide what you're going to do and what you're not going to do, and
Right.
prioritize all the things. There's always too many things to do, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's part of it too, is learning not to be such a control freak and learning to delegate, right? You can't do everything by yourself. You're not supposed to. And you're also supposed to focus on things that maybe your teammates can't do. And so,
Mm.
like, for example, business development, that's something that's not everybody knows how to do.
Yeah. So, and do you like business development?
Hmm. Yes and no. I think business development can be fun, but I think the part that is tricky is learning how to craft your message in a consistent manner
That's
under
great.
under different times. Like if you're under duress and you got to do it on the spot, you got to be able
Yeah.
to create that elevator pitch right away. So I think practice makes perfect, and I think because I have such a strong mission and vision of what I wanted to do, even as a teacher, I think it carries out naturally. But I mean, think about it. If you can get flustered really easily and go, oh, blah, 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 I like start
Yes.
vomiting.
Yes. That is great. Word vomiting. I love it. It's true though. Like the scripting of your message to make it resonate with the audience and stand out and be memorable and incite some sort of emotion to do something is a critical piece of business development.
Absolutely. And I think authenticity, right? If you're not truly about it, they're going to know. They're going to smell it and go, something's not right here. And I think that even when you're hiring, right, you can smell when someone's not really about the work that they do. Are you walking and talking in the way that you do believe?
Isn't it funny? So are you a big trust your gut person when you're hiring?
Oh my gosh, yes. Trust your gut. I don't know what it is, but my instincts, not that it's never led me wrong. I mean, trust me, I've had a few slip through, but I think most of the time, yes. And I also take a look at portfolios. So something I do is they submit a teaching sample that they've done. And I also put them through, sample students that we have here that are continuous testers. They know how to ask the tricky questions because they've done it before. And so
Oh,
I put them through the test and see how they do.
that's great. I've always told people it's like that interview is the best that they're ever going to be, and you should never round up on a person and say, "Well, we can probably make them better." We can teach them this or that. Teaching is one thing, but that who they are is sort of who they are.
Exactly.
Yeah. By the way, I hope we're not putting Elsa to sleep.
Oh, she is loving this petting that I'm doing. I'm actually petting her belly as we speak.
I love it. She's like, "Oh, this is great. Do more podcasts. This is awesome. I love this time." You should make her
I
your
work
mascot.
hard so that she sleeps, okay? I'm just kidding. This is motherhood.
That's so great. It's a tough job, it really is. Okay, so tell me about you've got your team, you're building it out. How do you motivate people, and then how do you hold them accountable at the same time?
Oh, that is a really good one. Holding them accountable is easy, right? We have a lot of like daily check-ins. I do see basically we have a data tracker. So after every single session, every data is recorded. What did the student do? What did the student do? What did they miss? What was their misunderstanding? And what were their behaviors? So we
Oh,
track all of that stuff every single session, and I review it every night. That is something that I do religiously. But in terms of motivating, I have learned that you can't really motivate anybody. I know
hmm,
it sounds really crazy.
hmm.
It goes against a lot of what people think, like, oh, these motivational speakers and things like that. But let's be real here. You wouldn't be motivated unless you wanted to be motivated.
Ah,
So that's what I've learned is you cannot motivate anyone. You can only motivate people that want to be motivated. And so therefore, through the hiring process, you can see who wants to eagerly want something or be hungry or is open to learning again with the whole continuous improvement, or someone that's really closed off and set in their ways. And so you can kind of see who is the inspiring type.
yeah, who's got the fire in their belly to really like I'm leaning in. I'm super excited about your mission. And I love what I do. I can see I'm bought into the whole vision of
Exactly. The buy-in, very important.
yeah, and you can conversely see when they're when that isn't happening. Um, so that's good. So and then how do you get your team to work? Does your team have to work together? I assume sometimes they do.
Yes, I mean, we do a lot of co-teaching environments, but I would say that they would lean on each other more for emotional support. Some of
Uh,
our students are very challenging, and understandably, they come from maybe families of gangs. They maybe come from, rough neighborhoods, or, challenging situations where it's a kid raising a kid, basically, it's just a lot of challenging emotional stress. So I think the emotional support animals or therapy or things. That's how they probably lean on each other most. Curriculum wise, we have a flushed out curriculum, so they're not really concerned about flushing out curriculum that's already made by us and our curriculum team. Their job is to focus more on that relationship building, and I think that is what makes us different is that relationship aspect.
it really is all about people at the end of the day, isn't it? No matter what your whatever
Yeah,
your
it does not matter.
all about people. Okay, let me ask you this: where does AI fit in your world of the future, or does it?
Oh my gosh, 1000%. You either get with the AI program or you're going to get left behind. And so we definitely use a lot of AI tools and it improves our systems. But again, that relationship aspect, you can't replicate that, mimic that, or recreate that. So I do believe that our tutors, even though we do use AI and all that stuff, at the end of the day, that connection that you create with the kid to be able to then motivate them in a way to do their
Yeah,
work. Yes, that aspect is important.
yeah, that's not replaced by any kind of artificial intelligence. The this is different than anything we're ever going to get from a screen or a machine.
Correct.
And I think it's important for people to remember that it's going to be interesting too with these kids growing up in a different era, and the amount of change that they're going to see is accelerating so quickly. You
Yeah.
know, I think that your emotional connection becomes even more and more important as we move through this, through this time, don't you?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think we're starting to see that shift as well. I think a lot of people are also noticing, even from COVID, right? A lot of social distancing. Um,
Yes.
you can see like, oh wow, like being able to communicate with somebody is very important. Actually, those kids that grew up in the COVID time and weren't able to interact with people at school, their social skills are definitely a lot less developed, and it's very interesting to see. And that's something that we also have to help them with because it affects their reading, writing, speaking abilities, all of the above.
I hadn't thought about that. That's really, yeah, it's really compelling. And so it all comes back down to communication. And don't you believe that in the world of the future, the communication aspect becomes even more and more important as we are doing more of the screen stuff? The people
Yes.
is even harder and needs to be developed.
I mean, even like on a personal level, dating, right? To be able to carry a conversation at dinner without the phone, without the technology,
Yeah.
connecting with somebody, being present, like, come on, guys.
Yes. Well, yeah, I feel like you're gonna have to teach kids how to be present
Yeah.
and adults.
Yes, and I
Maybe
think
that.
that that screen time is kind of crazy, that dopamine. So, I mean, I do believe in that. And so, we do tell our parents, even though there are a lot of cool apps out there for them to work on and things, don't forget that spending time with them and reading to them every night, like just on that personal level. A lot of parents don't know this, but reading to your kids is one of the most important things you can do for them growing up. And the reason why is because through storytelling, you're teaching them things through stories in a way that it's not like mommy and daddy told you so. It's through experiences of the characters. And they're like, wow, this is a lesson I learned. Like the boy who cried wolf, right? You're not going to
Uh-huh.
tell the kid, hey, don't lie. This is why, then you're learning it through a story and it goes, oh, click, click. It makes more sense. And you're building that bond with these characters. And the kid is like, oh my gosh, like, what are we going to read next? And it builds that emotional relationship with the parents. There's a lot that goes into just reading a story at night.
That's great. Do you have I mean, you obviously have a favorite movie because you have Elsa there. But
I mean, adult movies, I love Grease. I mean, the Grease is always the classic, right?
it's great. That's such a great story. Such great singing, and yeah, Grease is definitely the word. What about? Are there any books you've read that you would recommend from an entrepreneurial point of view, or just in general?
Entrepreneurial point of view, wow. Okay, I have so many books, but I think my favorite, okay, maybe because it's just a classic, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
so sorry. I thought I
Oh,
put it on Do Not Disturb It is. Okay, I guess that
okay.
one's through.
Seven habits of highly effective people.
Yes, and the reason why is because your habits affect your daily life. I
Hmm.
mean, you can say you want to be amazing and be the next basketball champion, let's just say, but you aren't really going to get there unless you put in the work every single day, even on the days that are hard, that discipline, right? And I guess that's similar to Atomic Habits. I think those two books, as an entrepreneur, is very pivotal because if you don't practice on the days that are hard, like, oh, I'm not getting any clients today, I'm just going to give up and take a rest day. Those are the days that you're supposed to go even harder and go, okay, like I need to brainstorm. What can I do better about my business development? What message could I put out there better? Or maybe I need to reassess how am I not closing clients properly and I'm letting good ones slip through the cracks. It could be anything, right? But I think at the end of the day, really assessing and looking at yourself in the mirror about
Hmm.
who you are is going to make or break the difference between a good entrepreneur or a great entrepreneur.
I think that's great. I love that. And thinking about back to business development for one more second, I think people really struggle with the idea of business development or sales because they feel like they have to, talk somebody into something. How
Mhm.
have you overcome, or with your staff, how do you overcome that sort of mental block?
Well, it depends on who's taking the business calls too. I think if you have to have like a definitely a designated team for that. Negotiation skills are amazing to have in that type of team, and not every teacher can negotiate. I mean, you have to understand like everyone's strengths. Negotiation is a really, really and crazy skill. I think what was his name? Sorry, it is escaping my mind, but he talks about negotiations in his master class.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
he
So,
was he was like an FBI a negotiator or like a
oh,
hostage
yeah.
negotiator,
I
and
think I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the guy's name
yeah,
either.
I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, it's at the tip of my tongue. We're friends on Facebook, and I'm like thinking, oh my God, how could I forget his name right now? And I would totally recommend his book. And that's one of the books that I use for our sales actually. And the reason why is because sales is about negotiation. You have to understand the needs and wants of the other person and, of course, their budget in order to best meet that. And sometimes negotiation also means that you have to also give something up or like be willing to like give in a little bit in order to make a deal happen. And so sometimes we'll throw in certain sessions free. Sometimes we'll throw in, resources, different
Mhm.
things that could make the deal happen.
I like that. And I also think that adding value, if you're going to give something away, adding value is much more effective than discounting. Discounting means you just cut your price. Adding value means you got something extra that's going to add a lot more value to the client's experience and make it a better really just a better value for them in general.
1000%. I like what you said. Like discounting is, making it seem like your product is lesser than in a way, but by adding more value, you're maintaining that value intact, but also giving them something else that they could have more of.
Yeah, and I guess that's the other thing with business owners that I find is business owners are generally the last people that want to raise prices, right? Because they don't believe in as much. Like, what if I raise my prices? Well, then you probably make more money. Is really what the deal is. Because if your product or service is superior to others, and you have positioned it in a way to show that it's superior to others and built the need and interest in the product, then you can actually charge more for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's exactly why I feel like our rates have been, even though they are competitive, but they're still a good amount because of the value that we bring. Not a lot of, you don't need to have a certification to be a tutor, but that is a requirement that we have. And so.
Okay. Yeah. So there's one thing, right? Our folks are certified. They're going to be, we know who they are. And I love the thing that you brought up about, hey, look, we record everything that's going to happen as far as like, okay, how did the student do in this? What did they experience? What do we need to work on? And that there's a lot of power in that because information and as a parent, like, well, how do I know who to trust with my child? That's a that's a big,
Absolutely.
yeah.
We don't want to waste the money. Oh my gosh. I can't tell you how many students come to us with parents that have said, well, we've already wasted thousands of dollars with this other tutor and
Oh,
there were no results happening. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that. But, it unfortunately does happen. And you would rather start the process correct, right? Start it right. And you could invest those thousands of dollars into somebody that actually knows what they're doing and can produce the results for you. And actually, that's actually why we have a results guaranteed.
I love it. I'm with you because anybody can be a coach as well. And so it's like, oh, you can say you're a coach and there's no regulation or whatever around it. And it's like, hey, if you went through a 60-minute thing and you think you're a coach or you have 3 years of business experience, you think you're a coach, you're not. So we actually
Exactly.
have our guarantee as well. Because like, we have skin in the game because like, yeah, no, what we do is real. You have tons and tons of training and then tons and tons of life experience and tons of business experience and running big teams and smash that all together and that makes value for the customer because if you really care about value for the customer it will show and I think
Absolutely.
that's the difference, right?
Yes, 1000%. And I love that. And I love what you're doing too, is sharing these business professional stories so that people can see that, we're real people behind these things and trying to make things happen for people and, making the world a better place in our own way. So I love that.
I love your why. The other thing I've learned through these interviews is like the why is so important. The why, and you have a great why. Like you're in college and you say, instead of going to law school, I'm going to change the world by actually helping kids learn and grow. And that's life changing. Like that's legitimate life changing stuff. So a child that may or may not have even made it through school or they got a degree but they didn't learn anything now can go on to be a leader in whatever field they choose. That's amazing.
Absolutely. No, thank you. I appreciate that. Actually, one of my third grade students that I ended up doing fourth grade with as well and taught fourth grade with as well, she invited me to her graduation recently. She's 18. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm old. I'm just kidding. No, but I didn't realize like how much of an impact that I made even as a teacher and that you still remember me after all these years for you to invite me out to your graduation. And so that was just very touching.
That's amazing. It's literally life changing stuff. So I'm so thankful. Okay, two more questions, then I'll stop. What was one thing if you could go back and as you're developing your business, what's one thing you would do differently?
One thing, got Elsa earlier. She was definitely a lifesaver. No, people don't understand how much stress you go through and like just having somebody there for
Yeah.
you during those times is so important. So I would say if I went back in time, I would get a pet earlier for sure. And then secondly, secondly, I think I would have built a system quicker. So when you're in the sense of like Okay, so when I was doing everything by myself, of course, when you're starting out, you're not really thinking about longevity of how to scale properly. You're thinking, I just need to get things done at this moment and survive. And
Yes.
um, totally understandable at the time, right? You're just modge podging things together, you're just doing things on the go, and you're trying to make yourself your life easier by, trying to just survive, right? But I think if I had just taken a moment to breathe and
Mm.
delayed some of the things that I was going to do a little bit later and put my systems in place faster, I think I would have scaled even further, faster. But I
Yeah.
mean, I'm very happy with my progress, don't get me wrong. But what this is what I tell actually my tutorpreneurs who are taking my course now. It's my tutorpreneur toolkit. And I tell them that having a system in place right from the get-go is only going to help you grow in a more um organized way. And so
Yeah.
like like your taxes, right? Like your books. Oh my gosh, I had to like go back and think about how am I going to reset up my books, like, oh my gosh, I could write this off. I didn't know. And so there are a lot of things that you're like, oh my gosh, this is what I could
Yes.
have done. But, through all my mistakes and all of my learnings, this is why I decided to open up that course for my teachers, because I do feel like teachers need to give themselves a raise. Tutoring is a great way to do that. And I want them to be able to leave with a system and a process that actually is sustainable. So.
So I love that. I'm going to come right back to that. I agree with that 100%. That's such a great observation, and one I haven't heard for I don't know if I've ever actually heard it verbalized the way you did, but the idea, I always think of it, it's like this. It's like if you've ever been to some of the third world countries or whatever, they get enough money and they build the block building, and then they have a house that's one story, but they have re-rods sticking out of the top of it.
Oh
And then
my gosh, exactly.
they build another story, right? But then the problem is you got a four-story in this example. You got a 3 or 4 story building with the same foundation. We need to build a 30-story apartment building. So that means we have to have a better foundation, a better base, better planning to build the system up so we can
Yes.
build a bigger building, right?
In hindsight, you're thinking, I just need to get all the way to the top here, and then not realizing, oh my gosh, I need to go back to the foundation and fix all these things.
Yeah, yeah. So there's such a brilliant. Thank you for that. So I got to tell you, or I got to ask you then about tutorpreneur program. I think I understand what it is, but I'd love to have you just give me your 2 cents on it.
Absolutely. It's basically everything I've learned condensed into this one course for tutors to start their um, program or their, services in less than 30 days. And so if you follow my program, they're able to start their business, their tutoring business from the ground up in a legal way, and understanding the accounting side of it, making sure that their books are in check, making sure that they have the right insurances to cover anything that could happen. A lot of teachers don't know that you need to have insurance to run a business, but of course, you and I both know this after being in business for so long, but you need insurance, just
Yes.
for your car, your health, everything, right? And so there's just a lot of things that I wish someone had told me right from the get-go that I'm now sharing with these teachers, and so that they can start building their own careers on the side and give them the raise that they deserve.
That's great. Yeah. And so is that online, in person? How do you?
Absolutely. So it's a 30-day program, but they can do it in 2 weeks if they were really committed, and it's asynchronous.
Oh, cool. I love that. What a brilliant idea too. You learned all these things, and you're actually going to give them away. Not give them away. But you're going to help people benefit from your learning, so they don't have to make the same mistakes. I call this, not my original phrasing, but the stupid tax. They don't have to pay the stupid tax, right?
No, that's such a good one. I love that. Did you hear that, Elsa? The stupid tax. I love that one.
Elsa's got big enough ears. I think she probably heard it. Oh
No,
my
but you
god.
gotta pay the stupid tax sometimes in order to make the big bucks later, right? I think
Yeah.
everyone needs to learn from that.
Yeah, and we can all learn from others. Like these podcasts have been amazing because I always pick up something that I didn't know, and a different way, a different perspective. So I'm just so thankful for that. Look, anything else? Like if people want to get involved in your charity, what's the best way to do that?
They can definitely donate through my link, www.upliftlearners.org.
Upliftlearners.org. Okay. Cool, very cool. Because that's such a cool thing too. I mean, you're doing amazing things. Congratulations on your amazing success. I can't wait to see your business
So
continue to grow. That's so cool.
I'm looking forward to working with you as well. We definitely have career days, and I think kids would love to hear how you came about with this podcast.
Oh, well, you're very kind. I love talking to people. So yeah, we'll work that out for sure. Have a great day, and if you want to have your children learn faster, better, brighter, more efficiently, and get caught up or get ahead, I mean, the tutor route, that's the way to go, right?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
This is a blast. Thank you so much, Stephanie, and really the star of the show, Elsa. Thank you, Elsa. Have a great day.